Hey guys, I'm Jay Randall and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be reacting to a video from PsychHacks and he's going to be giving his perspective on the Passport Bros movement. Let's get right into it.
I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is PsychHacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is Passport Bros and international dating. So this is a topic that has come up frequently in the comments of several of my videos, and it's a topic that I've been requested to discuss by many people over the last several months. If you're unfamiliar with the subject, Passport Bros is the collective term for a movement among Western and specifically American men who are increasingly pursuing mating and dating opportunities abroad. These are guys who are flying to places like South America and Southeast Asia and the Middle East in order to access sexual opportunities that they argue aren't available in their home country. And I'm going to respond to this phenomenon through the lens of my recent experiences spending a month in the country of Japan. Now, I'm not very knowledgeable about this phenomenon, but to be honest, there was always something about the Passport Bros movement that felt a little sleazy and pathetic. Without really examining it, my perspective was similar to the prevailing attitude, which was something like this movement was for guys who were too low status or unattractive to beat out their intrasexual competition here. They couldn't get laid in the States, so they basically engage in geo-arbitrage to leverage a relative advantage that wouldn't exist in their home country.
Yes, and that, to be honest with you, is typically how a lot of women view the Passport Bros movement, and some men as well. I've seen videos of even men speaking ill of the Passport Bros, shaming them, saying that they're, unattractive, broke. But I would say that primarily that is the perspective of a lot of women who are confronted with the Passport Bros movement. They think it's a lot of broke dudes who can't get girls. And honestly, there is a little bit truth to that, but that is not primarily the reason as to why the movement has taken place. It is honestly for a much more realistic and honestly valid reason. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. But there is truth to what he's saying. A lot of people do have that perspective of the Passport Bros, but there's more to it.
My attitude was something like only guys who couldn't get what they want from women here would need to uproot their whole lives and travel halfway around the world, which kind of made these men out to be conniving beta males. That was my attitude before spending a month in Japan. That is no longer my attitude now.
That is a crucial point, and I'm glad he said that because it shows you his mindset before and his mindset after. And he's going to get into more of his perspective, which I'm very curious about. But I think a lot of guys, because the stats even show that very few people even travel outside of the United States. So most people don't even have the perspective of being able to compare what they're experiencing in America to what the experience is overseas. All they know is this reality. So that's all you have to compare it to. But if you were to step outside and actually travel and be able to get that experience and be able to have something to compare what dating is like overseas to what dating is like in America, your perspective will absolutely change. Even if you like dating in America and you enjoy the dating scene and if you like it here, you're still gonna like it even more overseas. But we'll get into that.
Having spent a month in that country, I think I better understand where this movement might be coming from. And I definitely don't think it's just for loser men who can't get laid in America. Allow me to explain. From the perspective of my interests and preferences, the quality of the women in Japan was significantly superior to the quality of the women in the Bay Area. Like, not by a little, by orders of magnitude.
Whoa. You see, just that one experience, he didn't say it was different or better by a little bit. He said by orders of magnitude. That means, see, we're dealing with like the bottom of the barrel women, but we don't even know. I mean, we feel how crappy it is, but we don't, like I said, we don't have anything to compare it to. So the crappy reality is all we know. But we're dealing with women like her down here, and they experience how they treat us. But bro, when you step outside of this bubble and you travel, bro, the standards get raised so high. But you don't know that yet. That's why so many men in the Passport Bros the community, when they put out videos, they are just harping on, bro, just do it, just experience it, because you don't understand how crappy it is, how much crap you've been putting up with and accepting, and how good it could be. You don't understand what you're missing because you've never experienced it. And that is huge. And he's not the first, he's not going to be the last guy who says this.
Let me break down some of the various factors that go into that statement. First of all, the women in Japan are slender and physically healthy. I spent a month in some of the largest cities in the world, and I must have seen 10 overweight women in that entire time.
Yeah, compare that to America. Bro, you can't walk down the street without seeing a fat person. Majority is fat. Honestly, that is also why I think dating over here is like so off balance, because the few women who are actually in shape and attractive get so much more attention, because majority of women are overweight in America, statistically speaking. There's more overweight women than there are overweight men. So the girls who are actually at a good body weight get an overwhelming amount of attention. Whereas if you go overseas, being in shape, being slender, as he said, is normal. So that's not necessarily something a girl can leverage against you, because every girl, for the most part, fits that description. And I'm telling you, this is also what I've heard about dating in Colombia, Brazil, Philippines. Like, girls in America can leverage their looks against you, but when you go to a place like Brazil, Colombia, where the majority, I would say the overwhelming majority are like what you would find attractive, it's like they can't leverage beauty against you the same way they can in America. They have to bring more than that. And there's just the whole balance between men and women and what they can leverage against the other changes once you step out of America, and it's a lot better, and it's going to be more in your favor.
Half of whom were little old ladies. And these overweight women weren't morbidly obese. They were like plump, maybe 20 or 30 pounds overweight max. Most Western women literally couldn't buy clothes in Japan.
Damn.
The vast majority of Japanese women are slender and physically fit, which is appealing because it's not only attractive, but it indicates a compatible value as well. Like, I want people who care about their health. Second, these women are feminine. They wear dresses and heels and makeup. They tend to dress more conservatively than Western women. No tight clothes, no showing a lot of...
That is, I'm telling you, that is crucial, okay? Especially when you're looking for a wife. Remember when he was talking about magnitudes? That, if you're looking for a wife, you want that in shape, feminine, dresses conservatively. You don't have to worry about her walking outside looking like a hoe, because you know what? She's not just worried about the how you're going to view her. She's worried about how everybody else in the community is going to view her. Okay? And that's crucial. Community, guys. Because if you're the only one that your girl is afraid of, like, your shame or your, your opinion of her, she's still, but the overall, the rest of the community is totally fine with the way she's dressing, she's going to give you that pushback. You want to build your family and pick a girl that's in a community that adhere to a certain standard, health-wise, a community that adheres to a certain standard in terms of morality, in terms of how they dress conservatively, in terms of the culture, in terms of how they treat their men. That's what, guys, it's not just about the women and how good they look. It's about the whole mindset and the community framework that facilitates that dynamic of the type of woman she has become. You want to be in a community. See, even if you are to find a woman in America who is conservative, at least when you meet her, who is in shape when you meet her, who is feminine when you meet her, that woman still exists in a society that is opposite to that. So there's always this outside force that is trying to and has the ability to change your girl. Even if she's everything you want when you meet her. So many guys report this. They have a girl, she was perfect when they met, dressed conservatively, feminine, religious, whatever the case may be. And then, as time goes on in their marriage, people she meets that have a totally different mindset than her, feminist, the culture, watching videos, hearing music, they notice their girl starting to change, wanting to dress more, provocatively, and just acting different. Why? Because the culture, even if you find a good girl, the culture is always fighting to change her. And women are heavily influenced by their surroundings and people around them, their friends. So you're always fighting an uphill battle, even if you find a good girl in the United States. But if you find a girl overseas and that community facilitates the type of conservative woman that you're looking for, it's going to be a lot easier for her to remain that way. Okay? And that is also one of the benefits of traveling abroad.
Skin. The feminine ideal there seems to be like softly elegant, flowing and modest and dignified. And these aren't 1950s housewives. These are women who, for the most part, are working professionals. They have modern ideas. They are educated and accomplished, but they haven't thrown out more traditional conceptualizations of female beauty.
And that's another thing I wanted to touch on, because a lot of American women, their default shaming tactic when it comes to men going abroad is that, oh, you're going overseas for unintelligent, dumb women who don't understand their worth, don't understand their value. I would argue that those women understand their worth far more than American women who can't seem to exist or feel valuable without taking off their clothes or dressing or walking half naked or selling their sexuality. They need to go as far as to sell themselves or sexualize themselves in order to feel valuable. These women overseas feel valuable, and they don't need to get naked in order to express that. Okay? But they always try to say that they're unintelligent, that they're uneducated. And that's why we want to go down there and manipulate them, because they're uneducated. I would say Japanese women and Asian women and women all over the world. I've talked to women all over, and they are not foolish as Americans women would like you to believe. Okay? But of course, American women think they are the superior women because they are woke or enlightened through their feminist belief system, which they think is the truth until they hit 30 and realize the real world. But these women don't need that 30, I just hit the wall reality check. They understand their value from young, and that is beautiful. Okay, that is a beautiful thing to actually see women who understand that, who are intelligent and don't need to get half naked to showcase their value.
This is not something you can easily find in the West anymore. And you can't find it at all in the Bay Area, at all. And I find feminine women very attractive.
Yep.
It resonates with me and inspires me to be even more masculine. Now, before I go any further, if you're liking what you're hearing, please consider sending this episode to someone who might benefit from its message, because it's word of mouth referrals like this that really help to make the channel grow. You can also hit the thanks button and tip me in proportion to the value you feel you derive from this episode. It's your donations that make all this possible. I don't do the product placements and the corporate sponsorships of other channels
Subscribe
of this
to this
size.
channel,
And trust me, I get like 50 different offers a day. This helps me stay independent, and it helps me to do what I need to do to keep the channel going. So thank you very much for your support. All right. Third, the women in Japan are extremely respectful.
Oh my God.
Every woman I interacted with there was extremely warm and friendly. They were receptive to conversation, and they seemed to enjoy, or at least very effectively pretended to enjoy, speaking with me. Even more, they were solicitous about my feelings and seemed concerned that I should enjoy the interaction as well.
Yo, that is so key. I'm telling you, respect. Honestly, guys, talking to girls over here, a lot of reasons why guys don't want to approach women is because of that initial fear of a nasty reaction. Not just, oh, I'm not interested, but this like look of disgust, like the audacity of you to come up and try to talk to me. It's literally night and day. Going overseas, they are just so welcoming, so warm. And I'm telling you, over here in America, American women, talking to them, it feels like impress me. When you walk up to them, they have this aura about them that's like, okay, I'll give you some time. Let me see what you got. Impress me. That dynamic doesn't exist when you go overseas. When you go overseas, when two people are talking, it feels, you don't feel like you have to carry everything. They're actually talk back to you. They actually not just talk back to you. It's like they are engaged. Like when you talk to American women, you got to kind of keep running, talking until like you get that hook point where they'll start reciprocating back to you. When you talk overseas, I'm telling you, that hook point comes so quick. As soon as you start talking, they're interested in you. They want to know about where you come from. They want to know about, your perspective. And they're happy, guys. They are happy. Keyword, they are happy that you came up and talked to them. And they will express to you how happy that they are that you talked to them. And that, I'm telling you, it is night and day. A lot of guys over here who have approach anxiety, you go overseas, talk to a few women, that approach anxiety is gone. Why? Because you know that it's going to be a pleasant experience if you go up and attempt to talk to that stranger over there. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a pleasurable experience, and they are going to be very friendly. Over here, you got to worry about if she's going to be nasty, if she's going to be rude, if she's going to be entitled, have an attitude, give you that stank look that's like, yo, why are you talking to me? You don't got to worry about that. 9 times out of 10, you don't got to worry about that. I'm telling you guys, you don't know how bad you have it. Well, I think American men know at this point, but you don't know how good you could have it. I'll say that. If you just put in the effort to like try and experience something new.
Oh, I didn't experience a single indifferent or disrespectful word, tone, or glance from a woman in a month. This made approaching and talking to women in Japan a much less fraught experience than it is in the U.S.
What did I just say?
The women I spoke to seemed to take pleasure in the attention and in the dialogue.
That's literally what I just said.
Nothing about the interaction indicated that they were annoyed or offended that I was interested in talking to them.
Exactly.
Fourth, while a kind of chivalry exists in Japan, it's an inverted version of what we have here. In Japan, men come first. Women come second. It's difficult to appreciate how deeply the romantic ideology permeates our manners until you go to a completely different culture. For instance, one day I was walking towards the main entrance of a building at pretty much the same time as a woman. My natural instinct was to get there first and hold the door open for her. However, when I did so, she refused to walk through it, making a show of great embarrassment. And I later realized that in that culture, it would have been embarrassing for her if I had allowed myself to disrespect myself in that way for her sake.
Yo. Guys, you see the comparison? Over here, you feel special if a woman says thank you for the date. Over here, you feel special or appreciated for the smallest things. If a woman is just like somewhat decent, somewhat respectful, somewhat appreciative, we feel like, man, that girl is amazing. I'm telling you, over here and in other parts of the country, the way women treat you, there's like a default level of respect simply by you being a man. Over here, you're like treated like scum unless you showcase some kind of value. Like literally, guys, we are dealing with like the bottom of the barrel treatment. I'm saying this woman wouldn't even walk through the door. But over here, you'll open up a door for a girl, she'll just walk through like you're her freaking butler and that door was supposed to be opened for her. Bruh, I have never opened up a door for a guy and him not, thank me or like in some kind of way. It just doesn't happen. But women will just walk right through that door as if that's just your job. You're the door opener. You're a guy. Of course you're supposed to be opening my door. This woman wouldn't even walk through the door. That's crazy. You see the night and day difference? She would feel insulted if she walked through before him. She would feel as though she embarrassed him because he was belittling himself for her sake. Guys, look, I understand that like living in America, we get all the first world amenities, and a lot of times that can blind us to everything else we're lacking. Okay? You got to really break down the cost and benefit of living in America. Okay? Because for me, at least at this point, I'm starting to see a lot more benefits of going overseas and just using America as my means to like make money, but actually living somewhere else. Okay? It's cheaper. The women treat you better. The culture is better for family. And honestly, you get to live more, but we're going to talk more about living overseas. But right now, let's get back into the video.
Another example. Many years ago, I spent some weeks in Japan studying Buto dance in an immersive program. The first night of the program, at the General Assembly, we heard a long speech on how the organizers miscalculated the number of futons they needed for the students. Apparently, there would not be enough beds for everyone, so the women would have to sleep on the bare floor without cushions or sheets until the problem was rectified. Now, there were a couple other Westerners in the audience, and I remember we were just looking at each other in disbelief. To say we were shocked would not be an understatement. The idea that the women were going to sleep on the ground while the men were going to sleep in the beds felt completely unnatural to us.
Yo. Like I said, guys, now, look, I still adhere to a certain, I would say adhere to a certain version of chivalry that I've basically tailored for myself of how I'm going to treat women. Okay, the right women who actually do, feminine things and treat you well. I still adhere to chivalry for the right woman. So that situation right there, like that, honestly, is crazy that it's actually a thing. Because over here, it's the man is going to give up anything. If a woman doesn't have a seat, we've seen plenty of videos of people on buses and them getting mad at men because a woman is standing and they have not been chivalrous and given up their seat for her. But I thought they wanted equality. Equality, but there's plenty of videos of women complaining that men are sitting down in the subway on a bus and they refuse to give up their seat to a woman. Over there, that wouldn't even be an issue because they would already know that the guy has the right to the seat. Now, that's up to you if you want to be a nice person, be chivalrous, depending on you. In some cases, I would give up my seat to a woman under certain circumstances, but over here, I just hate that it's the default standard. Especially because the women over here don't deserve it. Over there, the women, you could argue, do deserve chivalry with the way he's describing that they act and how they treat you. They actually would deserve to get the futons. Dealing with those kind of women, I actually would give up my seat, give up my futon for a woman of that quality, just simply because of how they act and how they treat you. But it's the inverse, which is crazy to me. That just shows you how low quality of women we're actually dealing with here in the West.
However, our way of doing things is just as unnatural to Japanese sensibilities. That's starting to change more and more as Western ideologies continue to infiltrate Japanese society. But the important thing here is to understand that a lot of what many people believe to be the natural dynamic between men and women is really very culturally bounded and culturally specific. And to be honest, it felt good to be honored for being a man. Like, it's not a bad thing to be a man in Japan. In fact, it seems to come with some privileges.
I'm telling you. I want him to finish his statement first.
That are more commensurate to the responsibilities that men generally take on.
Boom. That is so key. When you're in America, it feels like you're walking on eggshells. You can't say the wrong thing. You can't look at the wrong woman. You can't even go to the gym and look around because some chick might think you're freaking looking at her and put you on TikTok as a creep. Everything you do as a man in America is scrutinized, and it's like they're waiting for you to screw up so they can label you as a predator, a rapist, abusive, misogynist. It's like, as a man, you're always on edge. Overseas, you're actually appreciated. You're respected. You feel valued. You feel honored. Guys, are first world amenities worth that disparity? I would rather feel honored and respected and appreciated than have first world amenities but be disrespected, always like looked at as the bad guy, the abuser, the criminal. Like, I would rather go overseas and experience a whole different relationship dynamic and just cultural perspective and of how they view me. Guys, ask yourself, is it really worth it? Are you getting what you believe you deserve living and dealing with American women? Ask yourself that.
So let's recap. On the whole, Japanese women are slender and physically fit, feminine and demure, friendly and courteous, and respectful and appreciative. Not all Japanese women, I'm sure, but the vast majority of them, as far as I could tell. When I spoke with them, the feeling I got was that they felt lucky to be interacting with me, which is...
When was the last time you spoke to a woman and felt that? Because that's what I was talking about earlier, guys, when I was talking about them talking to you and engaging with you, and they're happy to speak with you. They're happy that you walked up and talked to them. And he's taking it even a step further. They feel lucky that you walked up and approached them. And I would say a lot of times, even in Japan, with a more conservative culture, they don't really get approached that often. Everybody kind of stays in their lane. So the fact that a stranger did walk up and talk to them probably plays in to why they feel so lucky and honored and appreciated that conversation. Guys, night and day, you walk up to a woman in America, bro, a lot of times they look at you like you just bothered them. Like, why are you talking to me? Please go, like, just go away. Get out of here. They look at you, and some of them won't even acknowledge your existence. It's that bad that sometimes you'll walk up to a girl, be like, hey, how's it going? And they would just pretend as if you're a ghost and just walk on by. Would you rather someone feel appreciated and happy that you walked up and talked to them? Or would you rather someone give you a dirty look and keep walking as if you don't exist? Guys, these are like see when he was talking about magnitudes difference? Magnitudes between American dating and dating overseas, that magnitudes of difference, guys. It's entirely different ball game. I'm telling you, it's easier, it's better. You'll actually enjoy the dates that you go on. When was the last time you actually enjoyed a date? Going out on a date in America, it's like this grueling process that's like, okay, let's just do this. Let's just, you're hoping she's not, a bitch. You're hoping she's, respectful. You're hoping she's polite. You're hoping she's not entitled. You're hoping she doesn't run up the bill. You're hoping she's not using you for food. Dude, it's like you're not even going into the date expecting it to be like a fun, enjoyable experience. With the way he's describing the women in Japan, and I've never been to Japan, by the way, but I definitely am going to go for sure. Once I get, certain things in order, I'm definitely going to be traveling for sure. But the way he's describing it over there, guys, it sounds fantastic. Imagine going on a date over there as opposed to a date over here. You'll actually be excited to actually meet up with those women. Think about it.
It's a total reversal of the attitude you generally encounter in the West. I've gone on a lot of dates in my day, and the prevailing vibes were either A, that I should feel lucky that the woman was allowing me to buy her a drink, or B, that the woman needed to make sure I could give her what she wanted by conducting the date like a job interview. There's a lot of entitlement and narcissism here. It's all about her. On the other hand, my sense is that in Japan, women feel grateful for the opportunity to be there, grateful for the opportunity to be considered as a potential partner. It was extremely refreshing, to say the least. Now, I'm not a fragile guy. I'm not a loser who can't get laid. I'm not poor or low status or unattractive. I'm not a guy without options. I don't need to travel halfway around the world to have satisfying relationships with women. But I now understand why it's in men's best interest to seek out the most advantageous marketplaces. It's like, regardless of whether you're a novice or a master fisherman, if you want to catch a certain kind of fish, it makes sense to go where there are more of those fishes. High-value men who have lots of sexual opportunity in the West will still travel to other places where they can get more of what they want more easily. That's not pathetic. That's rational and efficient.
What was I telling you guys? Even if you're doing good and you are able to get women over here, and even if you enjoy the dating over here in America, you're still going to enjoy it. Because if you can get women over here, which is, I would say, definitely more difficult than getting women over there. So you're not going to have a problem getting women. It's just the quality is going to skyrocket. Okay, the quality of women in terms of character, in terms of values, in terms of beauty, in terms of like how they act and treat you. I'm telling you guys, if you enjoy it over here, even if you're good over here, you're gonna love it even more over there. Guys, we got to start broadening our horizons, guys, and venturing out.
Even millionaires don't like paying more than they need to, even though they could afford to do so. And Western women are extremely expensive. Men here generally have to pay more for less relative to other marketplaces.
Hopefully.
So I'm much more sympathetic to this movement after spending a month abroad. What do you think? Does this fit with your own experience? Let me know in the comments below. And if you've gotten this far, you might as well like this episode and subscribe to this channel.
Guys, like I said, in closing, the experience is so much different. And a lot of times we don't know because this is all that we've been able to experience in our life. Very few men travel, so very few men get the perspective of what they're missing. They just resign themselves to deal and put up with American women. And I think, guys, if more men get the courage to venture out, I believe that's going to have an effect on women in America. because they will now realize that they don't hold the monopoly on our dating life, okay? Because that's a big part of the reason why American women act the way they do, is because they know you're not going anywhere. And you're going to have to deal with them and their attitude, their standards, their just all the crap that comes with them. You're not going anywhere, so you're going to have to deal with it anyway. So they're not worried about you going and, overseas. But if they were worried about the men that they wanted leaving, oh, they would change. If more women saw the high value men that they've wanted going overseas, oh, they would shape up. They would begin to shape up because they're already having a hard time finding partners. So if the men that they want aren't even looking their way and they're dipping out across the country or overseas, abroad, guys, that could change things. Now, do I think it's going to have a drastic change? No, because modern women, American women, they are the way they are. They're entitled. They got feminism. They're not budging. But it's not about them, guys. It's about you. It's about your life. It's about how you want to live your life. Forget the shaming that all the passport bros haters are throwing your way. Okay? Women are living their lives the way they want to live. They don't give a crap about what you want or what you want in return from in the relationship. And no matter how much you shame them, you think they're going to change? They don't hear you when you call them promiscuous, a hoe, out of shape. Bro, they just tune you out. So tune them out, guys. They're living their best life. When they're out there living their life, they don't give a crap if you think they're a hoe or if you think they're low value. They don't care. They're having too much fun. And that should be the same thing with you. What do you want for your life? Tune out the noise. What do you want? If that sounds like a better experience, then indulge. Let them whine and complain and shame all they want to. It doesn't matter, because when I see videos of men overseas with their girlfriends and wives, they look very happy to me. And when I look at men in America, all I see is men complaining about how their girl is either cheating on them, manipulating, on some BS, wants to go outside dressed half naked, go on girls' trips. Doesn't sound like they're dealing with those problems. So ask yourself, tell me in the comments, what are you going to do? You going to go overseas? What are you going to do with your life? You're going to put up with the crap here in America, or are you going to try to maybe, I don't know, venture out, see if you agree with him, see if you gain the same experience. Let me know in the comments, guys. But that's all for today. If you got value from this video, please go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helped me out. And until next time, guys, take it easy.